Finalize the 8th.
We have one number. 8th and all of our documents.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can you hear us?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
This is really good sense.
Yeah, that's a big improvement, isn't it?
Yes.
I would like to call the meeting to order. It is 12:05 on Tuesday, February 16th. We're meeting for the Municipal Council work session in the City Conference Room. This meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube, Provo Channel 17, where it will also be available for on-demand viewing. We would like to now start with the roll call. Could we start with you?
Okay, Maurice Jorgensen.
Brian Jones. Dave Sewell.
Dave Beck. Dave Hardy. George Stewart. Jerry Winterton.
And Parker. And Santiago is participating with us remotely from Hawaii, is it?
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Oh, I'm jealous now. Okay. The opening prayer will be provided by Lease Jorgensen.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're grateful to be here today, gathered as city officials and as staff. And we're grateful for the opportunity to participate in government and to do all that we can for the city of Provo and for the citizens who live here. Please bless all those that are here today, that they may be changing our spirit and may do and say those things which will be pleasing to thee and which will be helpful to our city. We're grateful for the opportunity to be a part of Provo, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, we'll begin with our first agenda item, which is a discussion on an ad hoc housing committee. Executive Director is excused today, so who is going to be presenting this item?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd just like to add, while Bryce is getting ready, that Matt Taylor is ill today and is unable to be with us because of that. We hope he recovers soon.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Sewell, members of council. We, as council staff, we put together some preliminary suggestions related to the housing committee issue for an ad hoc housing committee. Based on the discussions that were held at the last work session, it seems that the housing is still an issue that most council members find to be a high priority. And because of that, we wanted to take a proactive stance. And so the memo that's presented before you has some of the code and some of the language that's in the code related to the makeup of committees. And the ad hoc housing committee, if we were to move forward with that recommendation to put together a committee, it would require a formal motion. And then we just put together some language for a mission statement as is dictated by code, just to kind of get the conversation started, more or less. We're not tied to anything in here. And so we also presented at the end some members of the community that might be more citizen experts on the issue of housing. And we present those for your consideration as well. Again, we're not tied to any name at all. We just wanted to get the conversation started. And so with that, I'm available for questions. We can run through some of the language in here if you'd like, and put together something that the council would sponsor and kind of go from there. So.
Thank you. Have any questions for Mr. Mumford or discussion?
Can we make some suggestions for the names?
Yep. And I mean, this is up to you to finalize and everything, so.
Right.
Yes.
So I look on the list, it's a pretty broad list. Perhaps the only person that's just a regular developer, per se, is Dave Gardner. I would like to have someone else represent the building community. And I recommend Dave Cavanella also doing that. He's been pretty active coming to council lunches and gave us a tour the other day of his project. He has a pretty good handle on the market. And that's what I really want, is people that know what's going on in the Provo's housing market on a day-to-day basis. Trends, what's working, what's not working. Dave tends to be pretty conservative, and he can tell you about others that are a little more perhaps bold and have gotten burned because they made the wrong choice. So there are choices to be made, and these are the ones that makes them, and they either live or die by their choice. So it's very practical, and should know.
Thank you. Mr. Hardy.
We can go back to the, I guess, just further in that email. Appreciate the quoting of the code a little bit higher. So I was not a part of the council when this was passed, but was a part of some of the discussions. And my understanding is when we were looking at this, we kind of had there was some discussion about what we call later potential citizen advisors, where the code talks about the committee may ask private citizens to assist and provide counsel, SEL. And I thought we had kind of gone around a little bit on would non-council members be a part of these committees, or would they just be asked to come in and advise the committees? My recollection is that the direction that the council wanted to go and what was put into code was that citizen advisors would not necessarily be on the committees, but would advise as requested. Is that what we put into code? And if so, how do we see these meetings that are here? Are these going to be citizen advisors, or are they going to be committee? That's long and short.
I think David Harding brings up a good point. I think that the object for discussion today was to form that committee of council members, and then that committee, and to assign a chair to the committee, and then that committee ultimately could decide what members to bring in, members from the community to bring in. I think the list was just a suggestion that staff came up with possible members that we could engage to be part of that committee.
That matches with my recollection of what the intent was when we passed this ordinance, that the council members on the committee would choose the citizen advisors. And I think they have the option, if they want the citizen advisors to be sort of like standing advisors that come to every meeting, they can do it that way. Or if they want to bring them in on specific issues, they could do it that way also. I just added, I think that's exactly right. That it was essentially left silent, so that the council members who made up the committee could, on each individual committee, decide how they wanted to use citizens in their committee. Probably the one thing that isn't really spelled out, but that was implied in all of that, is that when reporting back to the council, it is the council members who serve on the committee that are in charge of that report. Now they can certainly invite citizens to be a part of the presentation, but it's the council members on the committee that are in charge of reporting back to the council. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Jones. Mr. Hyde?
I was going through the handbook a little bit earlier, and I believe the handbook is subservient, is that the right word, to the code.
But a few places here it talks about this when council's committees, it says the council may organize committees of its members or invite citizens to assist council in performing various council duties. And then there's also citizen committees called out by name in the task forces. So maybe we should refer that to the rules committee and clean up our handbook a little bit. But at least it looks at items past the at committees called citizen committees. So, but I wanted that clarification just as we go into the rest of this discussion. What is our objective? And it sounds like one potential objective is just to select members for the committee and then allow those council member, committee members to decide how they want to use citizen experts.
Yes, Mr. King.
So in regards to citizen committees, I would say our neighborhood share program, the area reps, the advisory board, the citizen committee. That's how I view it.
So the council can create citizen committees, but those are distinct and a slightly different role than a council committee, and I believe what we're talking about here is funding the council. Okay. We'd like to welcome Mr. Van Buren.
I think as we turn this over to the council, whoever the committee members are, I think it's important that we have a clear vision statement of what we're doing, because I think that makes a huge impact on who will be on that committee. I think in this, as a developer on the committee, I think he's going to have different ideas as far as maybe some of the neighborhood chairs might have on that committee. But I think I appreciate the thought of having a developer so that we become well-rounded. I think we have to have that vision statement real clarified so that we know what we're going for, who we're in.
That sounds good. Mr. King?
So with that thought in mind, we want to make sure we have all the stakeholders. But staff has to make recommendations, try to formulate policy, and people from the neighborhood program, from developers, from the different nonprofits. So having as many involved as possible is good.
So we bring that to the council after, determine whether we feel like as a council we've got it, or do we leave it up to the committee? We'll determine whether they've got the right mix.
I believe the way that we've currently got the code written, it's up to the council members on the committee to choose the citizen advisors, and they can bring people in one time or a few times, or as sort of like standing members of the committee if they want to. But the council does need to vote on who the committee members are from the council, and they need to vote on the mission statement.
Okay, so we vote for the council members. And on this one, if I remember correctly, it's you, and it's Kay who's going to be
Well, no, we haven't formed this one yet, so I think.
Which one is that? The housing, the development review was one, okay.
Can I make a comment? The housing, this committee is different than the development review committee.
Yes.
And this one was more based on housing issues and addressing the issues that we talked to with the school board as far as low income and subsidized housing, affordable housing. And so I did write up the statement, a possible mission statement that we could use as sort of a straw man to go off of there. There's also one that the staff has created, and that's in our packet as well. And the staff is a little more, and it's a little longer. I just did like a one sentence statement. I emailed it to Mr. School, but the statement that I came up with was to research best practices and make recommendations for solving complex housing issues such as the proper distribution of affordable housing by engaging surrounding cities, the school board, housing advocates, and other experts. It's not something that we have to go with, but when I was thinking about this committee, which I would love to be a part of this committee, I was thinking about a mission statement. Some of the issues that we're trying to face is a little more broad than just the affordable housing issue, but I feel like that's an important component of it, something that we've been concerned about, and something that we wanted to address. So by creating this committee, we can start moving the needle on that issue and then other issues as needed.
Thank you. Mr. Harding?
First question, I really liked aspects of that mission statement. Is there any way we can see that in writing?
I emailed it to Mr. School. I'll just send it to all of you right now.
Okay.
If you send it to me, I can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Looking at this mission statement that the staff proposed, number 2 was interesting to me. To make a recommendation on the problems that need addressing. And I think that may be a very good way to start, is to define that. And I imagine Mr. Taylor may be listening in. And I think he's already gone through that exercise a bit, but it might help just to, it's almost a part of defining a mission statement, is deciding what needs to be looked at. And I'm not certain that we know enough, just from listening to the conversation among council members, do we know exactly what the problems are and can we define the problems right now? Or should that be the first step of this committee, is first to define the issues and then to look into best practices, as Ms. Santiago talked about. Is to look at best practices and then make recommendations. But the first step may be to really lay out and define what are the issues that we need to look at.
A related comment is, as I was thinking about the possible mission for this committee, it seems like it may touch on a few other things that were on our original list of 25, maybe some zoning issues. The general plan update may touch on this a little bit as well. So I wonder if for today, maybe our first step should be deciding who's interested in being on the committee, and then maybe whoever those members are could review these 2 possible mission statements and come back to us with a proposal.
So, appropriation K, knows more about housing than K does. So I hope that you would consider being on the committee, because each of us have different expertise in different areas. No one has more expertise than K. Van Buren. Okay, we consider that. If you're in a position of nominating people, I would do that right now.
Well, I guess who's interested in serving on that committee?
I would like to serve on the committee.
Ms. Santiago, are you interested, Mr. Van Buren?
I can do that. I mean, my experience, when you talk about housing, low-income housing, and all those, my experience is really pretty specific, so I don't.
He is on the development committee, which I'm grateful for, and I think that's where he fits in even better.
Yeah.
So that,
Do we have more than 3? I guess we can draw straws if we want.
So let me just ask, hey,
If you didn't want to be on it, who would you pick in your place? I mean, if you don't feel like you want another committee, someone else.
Well, I don't think I'd have a, maybe up to whoever would want to serve in the area more than
so there are 4th person that would be interested in serving.
Yeah. Is there a 4th person? If not, I think we have our committee. So.
Highly interested. I'd love to, but I don't think my time. I don't have to do time for me to volunteer for another. Okay, I knew one had an interest.
I feel the same. I would love to participate, but I feel like I'm stretched out with the committees I'm already on, so. So shall we go with those three then, and well, let's see, I guess we can't really form the committee without the final mission statement, so.
I don't think that the way this, a superficial reading of the statute would give you that idea. I don't think that it actually requires you to do that. I think you can, it's just that the council has to approve the mission statement. So if you want to form the committee right now and then have the committee go back and come back with a recommendation and a mission statement, I think that's fine. I think the other requirement is that the mission statement ultimately be approved by the council, and that obviously I think would be the business because they don't know what else to do until they get that done. Okay, I think that's fine.
Any proposal for this, you want to those 3 days?
Okay, so according to Mr. Jones' suggestion, we could just go ahead and form the committee without formalizing the mission statement this time and ask the committee to come back with their recommendation to us for the mission statement. So I think I'm looking to entertain the motion to form the committee with Ms. Santiago, Mr. Connect, and Mr. Van Buren as members of the committee.
Second.
All in favor? Is there any discussion? Sorry.
Any discussion? I would like to have a little discussion. Yes, I wonder if we could take a few minutes and just actually discuss some of the things that we as council members would like to see discussed, that maybe can be incorporated in the mission statement. I have a couple of issues that I'd be interested in, and that would be the discussion of what we call a discussion on how to provide that. I'd also like the discussion to be held on how we can prepare for the expansion of our city, our growth of our city. Looking forward to that. I struggle with how we can do that. Maybe financing options that are available. I don't know if that's something that we do as a council. We're start looking. We are concerned about the low income housing, but even low income housing is new at one point. If we had a program to keep it up, it's new. I have a lot of old. Really good. And I don't want to discourage new growth. The policies that we would put in place, because I think we need to prepare for that growth. I think that's part of what we need to be part of. I'm also interested in the spreading of the wealth throughout the county. Opportunities for other county agencies to be involved in helping people throughout the county get income and get housing, not just here in the county. So those are 3 of the things that I would like to see addressed. Thank you.
Second all of those. Mr. Harding?
As we go forward with this motion, should we select a chair among the 3 names that we have?
So, yes.
And then I can just throw in a thought, and I don't know if we should do it now or after the motion or whatever, but I feel like Provo City has a lot of stated outcomes that we want to see our policies to achieve. Maybe a more balanced mix of long-term residents. But I wonder, I think we need to look and see if our policies and ordinances and practices that we currently use, if they're actually moving us towards those outcomes that we're looking for, or so that would be something that I'd like the committee to look at specifically is, say we're looking at these things and we're doing